fam. Good evening, Sam fam.
Good evening.
You know, I'll do this 25 times until you spit to me. Good evening, Sam fam.
Good evening.
First of all, thank you all for sacrificing a Monday evening to be here with us. Anybody have a rough Monday and it's all you can muster to make it to Sam Houston today at 5:30? If so, I appreciate the sacrifice. Thank you so much for visiting with us. Also, thank you for those who came last Thursday to the art show. If you haven't had a chance to do that, before you leave, walk down this long white hallway and be sure to look at those art pieces because your child is up there and I promise you, you will be amazing. Ms. Standiford and Coach Mata are the backbone behind that. So let's give them a round of applause, please. In fact, I would like all of our team members here at Sam Houston to please stand and let's just celebrate them for taking care of your babies from August all the way till now. So, this is a parent information meeting and Mr. Riddick is coming next to share some information with us. In the meanwhile, be sure to help yourself to the snacks that are in the hallway, and we have restrooms down the second, third grade hallway. Many of us know where that is, and if you don't know where that is, right across here is the office, and anyone with the badge can let you in there. All else failed, you can find me. Next on our agenda is, be sure this Thursday we have literacy night at 6 o'clock, so I will see you here, and popcorn orders are here, and we're going to get those out to you just as quickly as possible. So without further ado, let's give a huge round of applause to our district leader, Mr. Riddick.
Thank you, Dr. Kirsten, for leading this campus and the opportunity to sit here and talk with you and give really full disclosure around all the things that are happening so that you're not hearing it second and third hand, but you get to actually hear it from individuals who are leading this work and the work that we're proposing and negotiating in. That negotiation has been ongoing for several months. We've had time to talk with the principal leadership, the teacher leadership. We've had a chance to go and see the work in its place. And we can talk through how we've gotten to this point today. So several years ago, we were at a point where we had to start making some pretty rapid decisions around where Sam Houston was and what we were going to do to intervene on where performance was at that point in time. We developed a collegiate preparatory model. We were very excited about this work. We actually held that in the gymnasium, an open and honest discussion in regards to where we were, and staff was there during that time, and I appreciate staff what you've done. You've done phenomenal around lifting and leading what that looks like. So we brought in a leader who was doing great work on another campus. That campus is now one of the highest performing elementary campuses. She led what that work was like. We brought her over here to, in essence, build what that model was, how she built that model there could be built here under the collegiate prep schema. After a year, that leader decided that this was not going to be the work that she wanted to embark on, and we found a leader in Dr. Thurston to step in and lead that challenge, and we have the right leader. And I fully believe that we've had Dr. Thurston several years ago. This may be a mute conversation that we're having right now, because under his leadership, he is guiding it in the right way. And so that I certainly appreciate. So along the journey, we've gone into what we call fourth year. We've had a transformation in the accountability system. So we went from what was considered an IR school, improvement required, to what are called now F schools. And you have so many years to clear what that looks like if you become rated as one of those schools. You can clearly walk in, and parents who are here, you buy into it because you can clearly walk into this building. There is nothing that says F about this building. It doesn't say it about its teachers, about its kids, about the leadership, about the facility. It does not speak to that. And I wish there were more people like you who walk in a building and see and can understand and know that. There is no chaos. There are not teachers who are with their legs up on the desk reading a newspaper. They are working very hard to ensure that kids learn numeracy and literacy every day. I mean, working hard to build what that looks like. So we hit a point where we are now fourth year as a failing campus. And thus, we've got to do some things in order to sustain the model that I would like to keep for the district, the board would like to keep for the district, I believe the community as well. And that's to keep it as a neighborhood school. how do we maintain what that looks like? We've done work at Crockett Elementary where we closed Crockett and we renamed it General Franks. We took the 400 Crockett kids and we moved them to 2 other schools. 200, let's call it 200 at Milam, 200 at Days of Olive. And we reopened that school for another community to come in and build what is now General Franks. We had Travis Elementary that was ahead of where we are on our performance and in negative performance. And we built a partnership with Idea Public Schools to bring with us their thinking, their strategy to push us, because it will certainly push us in a number of areas, compensation as well. It's going to help push us further and faster than we've been as a school system in order to understand their playbook, their methodology, and how do we keep Travis as a neighborhood school. Same strategy with where we're at today. So this rule has in front of it a couple of options that if the school goes into its 5th year of low performance, gaining an F, that there are a couple of things that sit out in front of us. One of those is we can close the school. We've been down that pathway, and I think that's healthy for anyone, kids in the community, parents in the community. It also means an option which is a board of managers, meaning the state would appoint individuals in the city, get a conservator in order to run the entire district. So we want to ensure that we can do well by students who have been vested in here, parents, and we do something 2 years ago called a Call for Quality Schools. The Call for Quality Schools talks about any of our individual internal partners, teachers in the back, leaders up here in the front, internal to the district, as well as external to the district, on how could you help us think differently around talent, programs, and whole school models. This approach brings all their strategy, their business plan, and thinking to the table. There's an application process for all parties who want to be a part of that. And they bring their idea forward, and they present this idea before a panel. In this panel, they're evaluated and determined, okay, you've said and written all the things that we believe could be part of our work. We then bring that to the superintendent, and we do what's called due diligence. We go visit to see what you said, what you actually can do. And in that Call for Quality Schools, we had this year Third Future come forward. Third Future is an organization, charter organization out of the Colorado Springs area, led by Mr. Mike Miles, doing what we believe is incredible work in a different way that's very non-traditional. We feel it's a good model for what could fit here, and thus have presented it to the teachers to see what teachers think in regards to the model itself, as well as principals, as well as visiting the campus itself. So we have them here today so that they can share what this looks like in regards to the program that they're bringing forward, so that you can hear for yourself as well as have questions if you have them. Mr. Miles is here as well as myself, and Dr. Elise Kell, who's the Chief Transformation Officer, who's here in order to support what that could mean. We will type the questions up. You'll see them appear on the screen so that we can ensure that we're responsive to all the questions that are coming forward. You'll see a team over here who are getting the questions, and we'll type them in and bring them forward. You have index cards that are on the bench area as well as pens. If you need one, please let the staff know. They'll bring an index card to you as well as a pen so that you can write what your question may be, and then we can get that out for everyone so everyone can see the question that we're about to go through, and we'll go through all the questions bullet by bullet or number by number. At this point in time, I want to bring up Mr. Miles so I can defer a lot of the time to him so that you can hear, because I believe that's why you're here, to hear and learn his particular program and see where we are in negotiations that we will present our body of work to the Board of Trustees. I want to thank Mr. Rick Davis, Board President, who's here this evening. We will present to them in March the recommendation for this going forward, and the board will then vote at that point in time. So let me bring up Mr. Miles.
Well, thank you everybody for giving me some time tonight. My name is Mike Miles. I'm the CEO of Third Future Schools. I'm here to present to you our proposal for the school design. And this is my 5th or 6th time here in Midland. And let me say right off the bat, you don't need my help. You've got a great school district, you've got great leadership, you've got a great principal. There's nothing wrong here that we're going to fix. What we do have, though, is a model of instruction and a way of doing work to where we can help you close the achievement gap and provide other opportunities that I'm going to explain tonight. And if that makes sense to you, then we'll move forward. If that doesn't make sense, that's okay. So we're not here to check some box. We're here because my schools in Colorado and my past performance with my other educators, as a team, we've been able to do a lot of good things for kids. And that's all the interest we have. So that's what I want to talk to you tonight about. I want to leave most of the time for questions so that you can ask me. And you can ask me anything. Now, they're going to put up the questions on the board, but if you don't like those, that they're not putting up your question, just yell out, and I'm okay with that too. Because we want to make sure you're okay with what the model that we're presenting, okay? Because it is a different model. The first thing to say, though, is that we've got kids right now in schools that are graduating in the year 2031 and 2032 already, right? That's ways out, but it's happening faster than we can imagine. So in our model, we're thinking not only of today, but what's happening 10 years from now. And so you have a superintendent, you have a district that's on the move. We get that. Because we came out here, me and Zach Craddock and several other people, we've been out. We've been looking at your schools to see if it's a good fit for us. And if you're not a district on the move, then we wouldn't be here. But because you are innovative, because you want to do things, good things for kids moving forward, we answered the call for proposal. The other thing we like is that this is a chance for true partnership. And I use that word very clearly or carefully, partnership. We're not taking over anything. This would still be, if the board approves us, still a Midland ISD school. The name of the school will be Sam Houston Elementary School. The uniforms will be the same. It's still a college prep program. We're not trying to change or take over anything, except we do have an instructional model that's different. I'm going to talk about that today. We have a few other value-added things, and I'm going to talk about that today. So it's still an MISD school. Prep for college is still the same. Bus transportation is still the same. It's still the district bus transportation. Any kid that wants to ride the bus will get on the bus just like normal. Nutrition services, I hope your cafeteria food is okay because it'll still be the same cafeteria food. So that's still the same. SPED services, still the same. We, obviously by law, we have a requirement to take care of IEPs, but we also have life skills here that will still be here in the same classrooms here. We have the LEAP program, that's still here. Oh, MISD employees. These are the employees of the school. The teachers will still be employed by the district. Now the compensation plan will be different. We can talk about that. But they're still district employees. That's what we mean by partnership. We're not taking over school. And we also have no plans to build another school or take over another school or do anything like that. We're looking at this school because we think we can help this school. That's what we think. Oh, and I didn't want to gloss over that. Thankfully, your principal and your assistant principal, if the board approves it, this proposal, will continue to be the principal and assistant principal of this school. So we're, again, this is a true partnership. The way the law 1882 partnership was designed, that's what we're doing. Now, we do bring something to the table though. Otherwise, why would you consider us, right? We have to have a value add. What is it that we, Third Future Schools, brings to the community that hasn't been done in the last several years or actually anywhere. So one, we have a unique instructional model. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But in our other schools in Colorado, our first school is in its 3rd year. 3 years in a row, it's gotten 2 years growth in 1 year's time. So we are narrowing the achievement gap. And I'm going to explain how we're able to do that. In our other 2 schools, mid-year exam, which we took in January, 1 year's growth in 5 months. So by the end of this year, it'll be almost 2 years growth in a year. And that's students who are behind receive more time, and those who are ahead get challenged. We will be open from 6:30 to 6, and that is free for parents and the students. Free before school and after school care. And the reason we have that in our schools in Colorado and that we want to bring here is because probably like many of you, our parents work pretty hard. Some are holding down 2 jobs and they can't always get off at 3:30. Sometimes if their job starts at 7, what do you do with the third grader or 2nd grader at 6:30 in the morning and things like that. So we're going to be open the whole time. We will have high quality instruction. That doesn't mean that you don't have it today, but in our model, it's highly differentiated instruction for the students. And that requires a special type of training. So the other big thing in our model is we believe the following. Kids need reading, writing, math, and science, that's true. And we're going to narrow the gap on that. But the year 2030, the year 2035 is requiring our kids to have more. More of what? Well, 2 big buckets. One, they need more critical thinking skills. So our Art of Thinking class, we're the only school in Colorado that I know of, 3rd grade through 8th grade, because in Colorado it's a K-8 model. So here it'd be 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade, that will have to spend 90 minutes a day on the art of thinking. That includes information literacy, communications, problem solving, learning how to learn. Those are the subjects included in the art of thinking. It's very similar, except ramped up model of your AVID program for elementary. I believe your AVID program really requires a lot of critical thinking skills. And that's exactly what we do. And problem solving, and decision making, and learning how to learn 90 minutes a day. That's a huge investment. The second thing that has to do with experiences. We believe that modern education, year 2030 education, has to be 2 big things. One, reading, writing, math, science, social studies, yes. And experiences. When I think about them, real quick, I know we don't have a lot of time, but let me just tell you why we're thinking the way we're thinking. My own kids, and many of your kids, or many of you as you grew up, your education wasn't only the education you got in the classroom. Your education probably, like my young son, Anthony, well, he's 18, so he's not young anymore, but not like K-12 students. When he was growing up, he had music lessons when he was little, before he was 6. Then he got a piano when he was 6. He had a MacBook when he was 8. He had Surface Pro when he was 12. He got to travel around the country with his parent. I'm not rich, but I have means. I have upper middle class salary, so I can do these things for him. And those sorts of experiences that he's had, traveling, discussions, even eating at in nice restaurants and things like those are all experiences that grow who we are as people. Soccer club, marching band, all these marching band in Indiana where they had competitions. This travel, all of those experiences helped make him a better student at the University of Miami where he is today. We think we should also provide some of that for kids as part of their education, not as something that the parents have to pay for. So in our system, for example, 5th graders will take a field trip outside the state. Now they can do it on their own and check that box, but if they don't, we will provide that. We will provide that field trip out of state. And there are many other things like performance arts or being on a team sport. If they do that in the summer or at the YMCA, that's fine. If they don't, then we have to provide that experience for the child to check off. That's a whole nother area that we do in Third Future Schools that most schools out there in Colorado do not do. Okay? So that's what we're providing as a value add. And then also service project. We can talk a lot more detail. I've talked about this. So again, and I'll finish up here very quickly. I do want to explain the instructional model real quick, but our North Star are two things. One, the left-hand side is close the achievement gap. Now, every school is doing that. Some to some success, some without success, but we're doing that very well, at least in Colorado. And we think we can do that here. This right-hand side, your 2030 competencies, is both the experiences I was talking about and the art of thinking courses, which include information literacy, problem solving, decision making, computer programming, and communications. So, real quick, I'm going to explain. There's a lot of words up there, but essentially, take a look at this. In any classroom, and this happens all over America, so this is not weird to anybody. Let's say there's about 24 kids in a classroom, especially in areas where the kids are struggling when they come to you, right? They come to you behind, or many of them are behind when they come to school. And there's I'm a teacher, there's 24 kids. They are at different ranges. Some are proficient, many are not proficient yet, they're reading below grade level. What do I as a teacher do in the regular system out there in Colorado? I'm teaching right here, right at the middle, or just below the middle. Why am I doing that? Because I'm trying to capture as many kids as possible. I'm trying to teach as many kids. The kids up here, they're going to be bored. The kids down here, well, I'm sorry, but I can't help them that much because I have enough kids who I'm trying to get at. That happens all over. That's not crazy behavior from a teacher. What do? What we do is the first 40 minutes of class, those 24 kids get great, direct, engaging instruction at grade level. Not down here, at grade level. After 40 minutes, we take 10 minutes, we do what we call a demonstration of learning. That's a quick mini quiz. Then the kids are broken into 4 groups. Enriching is yet another group. But the first group is the kids who didn't really get that objective for the day. They're struggling with it still, even after 40 minutes. They're going to get more time with the teacher directly. Another 40, 45 minutes. That group is for that day, that hour. The next hour, they may be in a different group. So this hour is language arts, the next hour is math. They may be accelerated in math. But for this hour, that group will stay with the teacher. The next group, S1s, they're securing their learning. They're not quite proficient. They didn't quite get it. They have a more difficult assignment. And they stay in the classroom working independently or in pairs. The third group, they're proficient. They get a harder assignment and they go to what we call a team center to work independently or in pairs, and there's a learning coach that helps them. And then finally, the accelerated group is the fourth group. They will also get a harder yet assignment and go to the team center to work. And we do that all day long in all of our core subjects, including the art of thinking. And that's why the kids who need more time get it, and they get it with the teacher, and the kids who are ahead are pushed and challenged. That's how we've been able to get 2 years growth in 1 year's time, 3 years in a row. There's no other model like that I know of. Okay? No other model like that I know of. We have perfected that model, and we want to bring that here. We think that will help in closing the gap and helping kids with year 2030 competencies. So it might start off like this, and then After 45 minutes, it looks like this. That middle area is called the team center. In the end of the day, though, can't do any of this without high-quality teachers. And we can't do any of this unless we help coach, guide, train, and support our teachers. And that's what we plan to do here. Yes, we're gonna have some of the higher salaries, and that's it's hard to see, but that's our salary compensation plan for our teachers who work for us. The district has seen this and understand the model, and so we will have higher salaries than the rest, but we are expecting clearly differentiated lessons every day in a coaching model where we're coaching like we coach on the football field. One of the challenges of regular schools out there and in the world is teachers get evaluated maybe once or twice a year or observed, and that's their evaluation. Us, we coach like a coach on a football field. If you're the defensive line coach or the offensive line coach, and your guys are practicing on the field, you don't look at them and then wait 3 weeks and write them a little note about how they're doing. Right? You're right there saying, no, you guys have too much distance between you when you line it up, in your stance. So close it, and that's what we do. Not as mean as a football coach, but still, we are coaching every day. I think I'm about done. Yeah. I can talk all day about this. How about I stop and answer questions that you might have?
Thank you, Mr. Miles. So if you have questions, if you hold up your index card, they'll go ahead and collect those index cards so we can begin to type those up so that we can get those questions out for everyone, and we can begin to keep it log in an area for the campus itself.
You want to write it out and I can take it back and write it out again?
And if you need another index card, don't hesitate to ask if you need another index card. And I'm a former English teacher, so I can read most handwriting, but if you just work to clarify if needed, we may have to come back and hold the card up and get close to the question from what we're seeing. Yep, you sure can. We'll go to number 2. We've got 3 people typing, so they're each getting cards. So we'll jump to number 2 and then go from there until we get back to the number 1 question. Some of them are a little long.
Yeah, so number 2 is the learning coach a certified professional or just a helper? So in the 3 schools in Colorado, almost all the learning coaches are certified teachers, but they don't have to be. Here, we would try to get certified teachers to be learning coaches. Learning coaches are the ones that are in the team center. So once a teacher, the certified teacher, sends a teacher into the team center, in this case it would be the library, for example, is one of the team centers, that learning coach in there helps those kids who are stuck or need direction, where to go to find a resource or something like that. That's the job of the learning coach. They don't actually have a homework or lesson plans to do things like that. So not all learning coaches are certified teachers. We would try to get them to be to get certified teachers. And here, since we're paying the learning coaches fairly well, hopefully we'll get certified teachers to be learning coaches. Number 1, the school fails due to lack of teachers this year. Our students do not have teachers. How will that be fixed? So, no question, at least this is from my perspective as an outsider hearing, there's a teacher shortage in the Permian Basin. And that's a real thing. And so my team and I, we spent the first 2 trips here just to see if that was going to be such a challenge for us that we wouldn't be able to get all the teachers that we need. But I'm very sympathetic. I get it. When you have subs in the building, too many of them, it's not their fault. It's hard to really push achievement forward when you have a lot of vacancies. Just because of the pool of teachers there aren't a lot. We think, and Mr. Riddick is prepared for this, we think because our salaries are higher, we're gonna be able to fill our positions, including maybe taking some teachers from Odessa, which we hope we do that too. And we think many of the people on staff that are currently on staff will want to work here and will get positions here. So all those things combined, we think we will solve number 1. Number 3, how much of the differentiated instruction is online or all instruction really? So we have not all instruction. Most of the instruction is direct instruction. In our teacher language, that means a teacher engaging with kids like I'm engaging with you, except much more engaging where there's multiple response strategies, engagement strategies, etc. But a teacher really guiding that first 40 minutes. That is not online. Now, the next 40 minutes, some of it can be online. So we'll have IXL, I don't know if you're familiar with that program. So some of it will be online, but that's a teacher's choice. And I can tell you at the other schools, sometimes the A's and S2s have an assignment online that they go to, but most of the time it's something that teacher created to support the kids. So differentiated instruction it's a term of art for teachers. They all know what this means. It means that each lesson is divided into 4 levels of difficulty. And it's all tied to the same objective. Let's say they're doing tectonic plates, or a more simple example, ratios and proportions. So all 4 lessons will be tied to ratios and proportions, like 4th grade math ratios and proportions, but the A work is going to be much harder story problems than the S2 work. The L work is still going to be story problems on ratios and proportions, but the teacher's going to be guiding that lesson. So it's a little easier only because the teacher's guiding it, and the teacher knows what level of difficulty it should be. That's what differentiated instruction is, and that's why the kids who are ahead don't sit there with the same thing everybody else is doing. That example I was giving about all the teachers teaching right here, well, that happens in most classrooms, not in ours, because they have to be differentiated. Will we be fully staffed? I just answered that. I'm pretty sure we will be. Will after school care be structured? Yes. So one of the ways we save money and are able to put it into salaries, we have our art, PE, and dance or other elective teacher. They come in at 9:30 and they stay till 5:30. So after school we already have more PE, art, and dance. And then we have other things that the teachers do. For example, in Colorado Springs, the teachers have Girls on the Run, not in the winter, they had it in the fall, and they'll have it again in the spring. They had volleyball, they had a board game club at the academy in Aurora. So it depends on what the teachers' experiences are. And then sometimes we bring in, depending, and here I don't know the community totally yet, but if we can get a karate teacher in, we've done that at the academy. We paid for that. Yoga, we've done that. So it just depends, but we will have structured activities. Are the kids who get it going to be on computers? Yes, so a lot of the kids who are A's and S2s do work on computers, but we also have work on computers for L's and S1s also. So sometimes that's the right assignment, differentiated of course, for those children. You say the other goal is to keep this a neighborhood school. Does that mean Sam Houston will only accept kids in Sam Houston district? Will all Sam Houston kids be accepted? Yes, all Sam Houston kids are accepted, period. There is no entry requirement. There's no, we're not kicking anybody out. So if this is your school, if this is your neighborhood, this is your neighborhood school. You have the same principal, you have most of the same teachers. This is a neighborhood school. It's a different program, no question. But this is your neighborhood school. If there are more open seats, like once everybody here in the neighborhood who wants to come gets a seat, let's say there's 10% more seats, like 50 more seats somewhere in the school, then we will open it up to the rest of the district. So, but Sam Houston kids, first dibs, right here.
Sir,
What?
sorry, I want to bounce off of that. What about those of us who go to school here where this is not our neighborhood school? Like, we transfer in.
So, can you enter that into this? I think I know the answer.
I think you do too. If you currently attend Sam Houston, you're in Sam Houston next year.
So one of the things we want to know is that there's a right of refusal is what we give our kids and our parents. So if this is not the program you want, we need to know. So we do an application. In that application, you decide, do you want in? You turn that in. If you don't want in, you need to let us know in the application as well. So then we can match you up with another school option. So we want to make sure that this is the school you want and we know you're coming. So there's a process that we put in place so that everybody knows and understands what that looks like. And we built that out.
Is it through the applying with them?
We will do it through Apply Midland, yes. So this is it won't come until our board lets us know. So we're in that Apply Midland stage right now. This will be, and that part will remain open just for this campus. It won't be open for just everyone. So we can give you first right of refusal. Then once there are available seats, then that concentric circle can grow out into the community.
So
Is
for
this
those-
related?
Yes, those of us that have already done the applying with them, you said we're.
Right, you're in.
But we'll have the opportunity to change our mind if we decide.
If you decide that this is not the program and the learning style that you would like for your little one, then you would let us know so that we can then get you transferred either into your neighborhood school, which is your neighborhood school, I believe, or another school option that is available for you. Yep.
So, Sam Houston, calendar, school calendar look like for this school. So it's not finalized. Again, the board has to approve all of this. It has to give us the green light. If they do so, we plan to have a longer school year only in the beginning. I think 2 weeks, 1 week. We're open earlier than you are. I can't remember, but
You're the 4th, we're the 19th.
okay. So 2 weeks longer than what your school year. Christmas is still the same exact time. Spring break is the same. Most of the professional development days are the same. It's just the beginning of the school year where we do additional testing up front just to see where the kids are. We make sure that we identify the kids who are dyslexic. All of that stuff happens in the first week of school. So that's why we're in longer. And then we have to get the teachers and the kids used to the model and all that. The hours, oh, by the way, 6:30 to 6 doesn't mean that's not when school is for the instruction. So you're not required to be there. Instruction starts at 8, okay? So if you're a kid here worried about having to go to school at 6:30 to 6, I now just chilled you out, right? You're good, okay? And if you're in kindergarten and first grade, you'll be let out at 3 o'clock, and then all the other kids are let out at 3:20 or 3:30, depending on the bus schedule, which we're just working on. But we don't want to change the bus schedule around too much, what people are used to. And then if you stay after, if you want to stay after, you don't need to stay after. So Sam Houston will still be a choice school, yes. How are the salaries higher, and why can't all schools have the same structure? So a couple things around the salary. The first thing is this is an 1882 partnership school. What that means is If a district takes on an operator outside to help turn around the instruction in a school, the achievement in school, especially a school that's maybe taken over by the state, that school district will get X amount of dollars from the state. And in this case, it may be as much as 1,000 or somewhere like that per kid. It's still to be determined, but there will be some monies. Much of that money is coming directly to the school, and that's one of the reasons why our salaries will be higher. That's number one. Number two, we do things slightly differently. So we don't pay for paraeducators. We have these learning coaches. We pay our art, music, and PE teachers come in at 9:30 and stay till 5:30. So there's differences like that where we save money. We also save money on some of the higher curriculum textbooks because we have IXL. So luckily the resources are what the resources are here, and you've done a really good job of making sure the building is resourced. So we don't have to spend additional monies on that. So we do little savings here and there around that, and that's why we're able to pay higher salaries.
And that's what I talk about, how that's gonna push us as a district on how they're framing their compensation plan, how Idea Public Schools frames their compensation plan. We have to get out of a static model that says this is how you get paid, or this is how you're incentivized as you're in that role. So that's gonna help us push ourselves as well to either catch up or get ahead, so that we are in a competitive status across the board, so that all of our teachers around the district, 40 campuses, have that structure that follows what could be here for the future and what Idea Public Schools could have.
And mind you, I've been a superintendent, I get how it is. You all have done a really good job of resourcing your schools. I walked, those first couple of trips out here, I walked several of your schools, and like this building, well-maintained, HVAC's working, all of that. That doesn't happen. You have a great security system, you have good technology. You've already done quite a bit, and you should be very proud of that. Your board and your leadership have really taken care of you in that way. How many years in schools has Third Future taken over? So we've only taken over one school because we were asked to do it. This was one of the schools in Colorado Springs. We were asked to take over a failing school, and that was December of 2018, so a little over a year ago. This is the first full year of that school this year. Our first school is in its third year, so 3 years old. So we're a relatively new network, and even though we're a relatively new network, you asked how long has it taken? In our second year at that school in Aurora, our first school, we won the Colorado Succeeds Prize for the highest performing school with regard to academic student growth, and then also innovation. That this year, that same school won Aurora's Best Charter School Award that the city gave out. So this is a relatively new school breaking records already. I told you the two schools in Colorado Springs, first year of operation under us, mid-year, the school has got a year's growth in 5 months. Both schools got a year's growth in 5 months. So all three schools are really hitting it hard and doing well.
Mike, there's about 45 questions.
Oh, okay, so I hear what you just said. Be quiet, go through faster. All right. How does this model affect resource students? Resource students are no different. We have to have, we will have our own SPED teacher, we will have OT PT, we will have speech language pathology, we will work with the district on life skills and all of that. So it actually, the differentiated model we found helps SPED kids even more than the other kids because it's so differentiated. What is the next step for overachieving kids? So the gifted program will still be gifted at Carver, right? Is that right? Carver. But we have a range of gifted kids, right? We have kids who are already proficient and doing well. They're going to be served well in our school because they will be challenged every day. because they'll be accelerated, or they'll be S2, and every day they'll have a harder assignment than the other kids. Will we be an MSD school or charter? It's not a charter, it's an 1882 partnership, so it's somewhere in between those two. But it's going to be considered an MISD school. The accountability is MISD, right? The funding is MISD, it's an MISD school. Do current teachers reapply? How do teachers apply? So we've talked to the staff and Dr. Thurston already, and so we're not, we can't give out any contracts and unless and until the board approves us. After that, we will be looking at interviewing people. Some, Dr. Thurston, who vouches for some, they'll automatically be here. Others, we're going to interview together, and we'll see if they can have a place in our school. And then those who don't want to be are already going to join the transfer window, I think. And that's fair. People get to work where they want to work. And if this model doesn't seem like the model for them, that's fine. That's fair too. Will we still be subject to the F rating in the 5th year? So that's what we're trying to avoid, number one. Number two, there's a year where there's no score.
You want me to answer that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it look there, like, will it close after a year? Will we still, because you all said earlier that after the 5th year of an F rating, we could be subject to closure. With this new program, will we still be subject to closure after the 5th year? Will you come on for a year, change everything, and then?
The answer is no.
No.
If for some ungodly reason, we're in F next year at Sam Houston.
But we won't be. Bring with your kids at night.
The F rating still stands. However, at that point, because we're in a partnership, a turnaround partnership, the agency cannot have any sanctions against the district or against the campus. So it prevents those.
So we choose to keep our kids in here and get this F up, but if for some reason we're not in a year, and I can say, no, thanks everyone, we're closed.
How long is the partnership for? Is there a time limit?
The current contract that we're negotiating, which will not be approved until March, if the board chooses to do so, is a 5-year contract.
Is there a plan to discipline for kids who have a hard time listening to their instructors? Yes, but I got to tell you, I've been walking around in classrooms. You have great kids, and they're very disciplined. I didn't see any challenges at all here, and I'm not just saying that. I've been around.
I have to disagree, I have two.
Really, you have 2 kids who are disciplined? Should we see those? Yes, we have a discipline policy, just like you all have a discipline policy. And for the kids who are truly out of control, we're going to use the district's discipline level when it gets to that level. So the district has this.
We have a student code of conduct that in our negotiations we agree to, so that a individual who's coming in as a partner can't decide for whatever reason, I don't like you, you need to go to another school. There's a whole process we have to follow in regards to kids who have discipline problems. The school has to own what that looks like. And we have all the protocols based on discipline, how we take care of our students at that point in time.
To close gaps, is there a maximum number of kids that are in a grade level? There's not a maximum number of kids in a grade level, there's a maximum number of kids in a classroom. So we are shooting for about 24 kids in a class, except for K1, 22 kids in a class. I don't think that's going to be a problem. And then we're limited by the size of the building. So that's, and I think we're shooting for about 400 kids the first year, this coming year, because that's the number of kids about the number of kids you have this year. How many teachers will be in each classroom? Just one, and then the learning coaches help out when they're not in the team center, but they'll be mostly in the team center. How do you determine a teacher's salary? It's a range if you look closely at that. It's what we consider our employee value proposition. And I'll just be honest with you, reading teachers get paid more than specialist teachers. And that's, regardless of years of experience and things like that. And that's because of our value proposition. And so if you look at our salary schedule or our compensation plan, that's what you'll see, this differentiated compensation plan. How will your calendar follow MISD's calendar? Well, for the most part, it follows, except that we're longer up front. We have more days up front. How do your schools not have a library and a counselor? If not, why? So we will have a 0.5 counselor the first year, and then we'll judge from that if we need more. We think that will do. The library, we won't have a library, but obviously we have resources in the library. We just won't have a librarian. That's another way we save money and put the teacher salaries. Because the teachers are using their own expertise to guide the kids. At our other schools, we have, we still check out books once every 3 weeks. The kids go to a library. It's actually the city of Aurora comes to us with the mobile library and they check out books. So we could do something similar in our school. A library question?
No, the counselor question.
Yes.
So, what happens when our children need to speak with the counselor?
Yeah, so we will have we're hoping to have a 0.5 counselor, so half time. So if they need to speak with the counselor, they'll be able to.
That they'll only be like half-time?
Yes, correct. If they need to speak to a counselor, we will do our threat assessments just like we do anyway. If we need, because of a threat assessment, to have a child speak to a professional, then we will call on another school for that. But hopefully we'll have, counselor half-time and we'll handle most of the issues there. Before and after school, we talked about, will there only be pickup, no bus at these hours? So the pickup time is only at the 3:30 or 3 o'clock time frame, whenever the buses travel right now. Other than that, parents will have to pick up their own child. If they're under third grade or under, you're not allowed to walk, the kid cannot walk home unless we have specific instructions from the parent to allow them to walk home. And we need to have that in writing.
We go to 25, and we skip 25.
Oh, sorry. Current first-year teachers are already at SH. Will they be hired with you if they decide to stay? So yes, if we interview a first-year teacher and they want to stay, and we interview and they get a job here, they'll be able to stay and they'll get the salary that's on the compensation plan. How does this affect kids with disabilities? We already talked about it. We still have special education. We still do all those things. OT, PT, speech language, all the normal things. And that's, by the way, your administration, your leadership team has been very clear about that and very good about that. This is a community school where you serve all kids, and we want to keep it that way. Will they be giving more pay for substitutes also or not? No, the substitute, we're going to have an agreement with the district. We're going to use their substitute pool, and that pay will be about the same as what the district is paying. Do you have a board like MISD has a school board? The answer is yes. By Texas law under 1882, we have to have our own board, and it has to be at least 3-member board. So we will have a board. But we are working closely with the district on its policies, so we have to follow most of your board's policies. That's part of our agreement. What will the class sizes look like? 24, 22. Midland is its own culture. Why not use an established Midland charter as a model? So no question you have your own culture. And that's why it's important for us to be in partnership. So the leadership team, most of the teachers, we're not bringing in anybody from the outside. This is Midland teachers, maybe Odessa, okay, maybe something there. But your leadership team. So yes, we get it. This is you.
So on the question, why not use an established Midland charter as a model? question is, the answer is because we have a process. That process is the Call for Quality Schools process. No local charters in town that meet the level of quality that we are looking for have made it through the process. So that's the answer to that question. And on number 30, please tell us more about the type of partnership this is. I think Mr. Miles has done a pretty good job about explaining the partnership. It is indeed a partnership. It's not them tell us exactly what to do or us tell them exactly what to do. It's what works best for the kids at a particular school. How can we work together with their success and our success to make it even better and to expedite student outcomes and make them perform at a higher level quicker. And what we will do is we're going to have some upcoming meetings in March to explain more about what the 1882 partnerships are like.
Number 3 goes back to the previous question as well.
Already answered that one.
Dr. Gale, there was a question right here.
Will we still be considered a Title I school next year?
Yes.
I'll race through the rest of these. Cowboy Christmas, I don't know what that is.
The answer is probably yes.
Oh,
It's
yes.
big. It's important. So yes.
If that's part of your culture, then, we probably got to do that. Can you guarantee all teacher positions will be filled? Look, we have budgeted for all the positions, and we will interview. If we face the same shortage as you have, I can't guarantee that, but we're going to try. They'll be open and they'll be budgeted, okay?
And just know that teachers here will be interviewed, but there are teachers outside of here, meaning in other campuses, that might want to come into this program as well. So our model is getting very competitive around all the campuses and what they're offering. So between Dr. Thurston and Mr. Miles on interviewing, we'll look at that, because there are teachers here who might not want this model and want to go into another model, and teachers somewhere else who might like this model who want to come in.
Your model.
That's the interviewing process.
You've done this since 2018. Have you ever dealt with districts of this size? I don't know how big Colorado, because as you know, our area, it's grown. We're growing quick. We have a shortage of teachers. We're overcrammed, we're overstocked,
Yeah, so we started in 2017 in Aurora, and Aurora has 56,000 students. So it's a fair-sized district. Now, you're not Aurora, and you're not Colorado Springs. This is totally different here. We have different challenges for sure. The cost of living, you don't even need to get into that. Different challenges, and so I'm impressed that you've been able to really work creatively to solve your challenges. We think we have one piece, that's it. We don't have other answers for you guys. We have an instructional model, and the way we operate, that's what we're bringing, that's the value add. Everything else your district has been able to do pretty well. I'm just amazed at how well you've been able to handle the challenges that are unique to Midland. And I don't have any illusions that I have answers for a city that I've not lived in. But that's why you have Elise and you have Dr. Riddick and Dr. Thurston and the other people who've been here who can help. Real quick, when will this take effect? If the board approves, and again, you've got a great board, they will make the decisions that's best for you. And if it's not the best, then that's okay. We think we have a part of that. If it happens, it'll happen this August. If the board approves.
Right, so the board meeting in March will present this recommendation. The goal is to start this August with the plan.
Finding quality people who are willing to live here with the cost of living we are experiencing is difficult, yes. What is your plan to be successful and keep quality teachers all year long? So one of the things we need to do is make sure we coach teachers well and support them. We support them in many ways with professional development or with student discipline, those sorts of things to try to hold on to them. Obviously, if we start running out teachers, we're not going to get replacements, and then we're going to be right back where we started, right? So we're not going to do that. You'll see we're going to be very supportive of our staff. Now, make no mistake, we ask for high-quality instruction every day. That's our expectations for kids, but also for us, adults.
Mike, can we get this one?
Yes, sir.
So The plan is to open this fall. And with the timeline that we built out, we have that time built in to open this fall. So we'll present this to the board in March with a fall expectation of opening. Otherwise, Mr. Miles would not have taken this as an opportunity to move forward with that. With the idea, we worked through a year of contract negotiations. They wanted a year of preparation and planning to open in 21-22. In a conversation I had with Tom Torkelson, we could have started it this year. It's my belief, my words, that in all of that negotiation and all that planning, that maybe there was not a belief that we could get it done the way we did in order to get it ready, because we could have started it this year. But we have another year of planning to move in and phase in with the 21-22. Kudos to the team that built that out and had all that work come together. They did a phenomenal job on the idea of Travis relationship for an opportunity to start this early. It was their decision that they wanted to start in 21, and we agreed to it.
I think we can race to the rest of these. Extracurricular activities we've already talked about. We will have PE, we will have art, and we will have dance. So that's not going to change, and then we'll probably add others depending on how many kids we have. Probably computer programming also as an elective. Will we have tutoring before and after school as needed? Yes, we will, because we will have some kids who will just do homework after school. That's their choice, and that'll be okay, and we can help with that. Will we still have morning convocation? I visited your morning convocation twice. You're just excellent. That convocation is really cool. Teachers and Dr. Thurston running that, settling the kids and getting them focused and motivating. I can't believe how well that worked. Yes, ma'am.
Earlier, when you talked about the art, music, and PE, you were talking about it in the before and after school hours. What about during school?
Yeah, so they come at 9:30 in the morning, so yes, during school. They won't be there the first hour and a half, but the answer is yes, they will be there during school. So we will have electives during school. Also, everybody gets a 15-minute recess in the morning and in the afternoon. Until they get to 6th grade, which when they don't, which is not next year anyway. When do teachers get trained in the new model? Teachers, that's a downside for you, because we will need some time before school starts to train. I think we have 7 or 8 days on the calendar for teacher training, because this will be the first time. And Dr. Riddick, if this goes through, Dr. Riddick has already said that some teachers will be able to go to Colorado and look at the model and get trained before the end of the school year. Within your model and this being a choice campus, how will you address behavior and attendance issues that have been issues in the past and have hindered the overall academic growth of the school? I don't have any better answers for you than what Dr. Thurston is doing already. Made lots of gains in that area already. Usually when it's a choice school and kids want to go on trips and they want to do these things, attendance improves. But like I said, Dr. Thurston and his team, the teachers have been doing a good job and moving forward on that. And so I don't think I have any better answer than what Dr. Thurston is already going to be doing to get that up.
I've got several that maybe at a higher level, though they're being asked. So I want to go ahead and address these. It might be from staff. It says staff was told, it wasn't a presentation. We wanted to inform staff what was occurring, what was happening. Staff felt like you're telling me and you're not sharing and exploring with me. That wasn't the case, and I'll apologize if that is it. But we wanted Mr. Miles to be there to present his program on what the program was like. We're still in negotiations because it's not a telling at this point in time, because the board still has to vote on this. So at that point in time, that's how that presentation came along, so that you were informed and knowing what was next. And our next goal was to present to parents what staff in essence saw during their presentation, because they should be aligned because they're very much the same. You want to help by running off staff? Not the case. Staff can decide what they would like to do in regards to what that looks like. If you don't like this model, we have positions in the district for staff to come to, but I'm disappointed that staff will feel that that is the case. We're looking for best case scenarios of learning and instruction that push us as a district, that push the campus and the community and the school. We found someone very valuable in that aspect, in a learning style, very different than we do anywhere in any school. And can that learning style come in here and impact kids and, as well as the adults? This other question, very long, in essence, shares the same thing around staff. Staff is very valuable. There's nothing we can do without staff, nothing. The staff is valuable to the model, and you've heard what that looks like in regards to the time frame that Mr. Miles presents, as well as what we do in all of our other schools. It is staff that are going to make what that work looks like. Teachers, custodians, cafeteria workers, everybody clerical is a part of what that organization looks like, a school, and everybody having ownership in what that looks like lists the work. This one says, are we looking to bring in more third-party schools? Not the case. We have our call for quality schools. We have internal partners, teachers who want to think about the design of a school. Young Women's Leadership Academy, our Dual Language Academy, Carver. Those are internal designs of schools that have prospered under, in the beginning, their semester in with 1882 concepts to let them build what this looks like. Our theory of action from the board all the way to myself is the design of, or the redesign of what we can think about our school system to get to this aspect of leaders thinking through their own ownership of their building and their parents and their community and how they thrive as a school, getting to that point. So no, I mean, we're not looking at turning every school into this third party, but we are looking for leaders who want to turn their schools into something valuable for their community. I was like that as a principal. You stay in the district, you stay a part of the work, but I would have loved to have been given the freedom to navigate how learning could look like in my building and not have the, in essence, a lot of the rules that we have to operate by. It's called managed instruction, or the managed theory of action. This one is about trust. We're working through that because I believe that over the last several years, people feel either we've lost it even more so, we got to gain more back, or we have that trust piece there. And it's about trust with a decision, and parents should be able to vote. So parents voted for board members will vote on this. So in essence, you are getting your vote displayed in that particular action. But the piece that we have to know in regard is, do we trust that this model is a model that could be good for kids? We don't know until we build the model and start the work. Then we can see what fruit of labor we will get from that. Our Young Women's Leadership Academy is the same way. I don't know if that will work. I know that if you take ownership and pride in learning and delivering that learning, and you love them when they come in the building every day, every moment, good things are going to happen. And when people do that, there's nothing that can go wrong in the building. This one talks about the due diligence process. So the first process is the application. We post the application. We let people know from around the country that this application process is open and is ready. We wait for that application process to be completed. It's not too rigorous, but it does ask for quite a bit of information on your business model, your thinking and design of what a school should look like, a program, or how you want to help us with talent. How do you want to help us grow people to be better in their role, whether it be at the teacher level or the administrative level. At that point in time, there's a paper screening that occurs. There's an interview committee that comes together with teachers and administrators. We then invite the individuals from the call who move through the paper screening to come present. They bring whatever it is that they need to present. At that point in time, it's on them. They present their plan, their model. I believe they have about an hour of time to present during that. It's several days in regards to the team listening and hearing interviews during that time. They then sit and talk with me that these are the programs that we felt like are just like on fire that we have to go learn more about. So what we do is we go visit them, because what you say in an interview, you might say all the right words, you might show all the right pictures, but seeing you in person says a whole lot. So we took a team of about 17 teachers, administrators, central office staff to go look at the work and scrutinize it. Be critical of what you're seeing so that we can determine, is this the right program for how we want to establish in this school? So they've done their due diligence to come visit us to do likewise. We've done our due diligence to go visit them, and now can we marry? Do your values match our values? Do your morals, beliefs, and ethics around student learning match what we believe? And can you deliver what you say you will deliver? And if so, then we then present that to the board. And the due diligence, the last stage, is the board of trustees.
So I have a follow-up question, that was mine. So did St. Houston teachers go, or is it a separate interview committee that's focused on the call for quality schools and they kind of vet all of these?
So we took Sam Houston principal along with us, and then we took individuals who were on the call that sat through the interview to go see as well, because we wanted that group of individuals who sat through the call, who were presented with it, to actually go see it as well. But we wanted the principal to know, hey, we want you to go see, give us your thoughts and input on top of this, who was not in the call.
Were any of the parents of these schools talked to you, or the ones that been there?
When we were there, I did not talk with a parent when I was there, no. So I didn't get an opportunity to talk with a parent. That's an opportunity we have taken with some others to talk with parents and learn about what do they think. We had a chance to talk to the end user, which was a student, to really dive in and ask students what do they think, what do they like, what do they feel, how do they like this style, why did they choose this school versus the school that they're not at, what made them decide that this is the right school for them, and what's different about what they're experiencing. So we were getting it from a student lens and not from a parent lens.
And 3 of the board members are parents also.
So this is what we'll do. We're past time, and thank you for staying until 6:45. We'll go ahead and dismiss at this point in time. And I want to thank you for stepping in. Great audience and great crowd, great questions. We've gotten through them all. If you have something else that you want to come up and ask or share, Mr. Miles here, Dr. Kale, myself, other staff members are here. We can address what those are. But there are snacks outside. There are cookies if you feel like your child can have one at this point in time at 6:45. We're good. Please take one or take it for lunch for tomorrow. But there are some snacks outside if you'd like. Thank you guys for being here.